In preparation for the next Psychopath's Notebook Exodus, make a list of all those people against whom you would like to take revenge and include in detail the crimes they've committed against you. Be sure to include their type from the list above. But first, take revenge on yourself. You are the enemy. Make a list of the crimes you've committed against yourself. Now beat the hell out of yourself. Do a good job. This is the last time you will be allowed to be a louse to yourself. On taking revenge on yourself, what abilities do I have to get what I want, to communicate my strengths and weaknesses to myself? Do I have the capacity to love myself at my worst? How aware am I of my intentions? Do I pursue my intentions in some way every day? And the most important, how clearly can you see yourself? Exercise each day. Find a new way to show your will to become who you are. Thought of the day. The most important thing you can do on Psychopath Sunday is to dig up another belief and burn it alive. When you have no beliefs, you will have no more unpleasant thoughts. Of course, that means you won't have any pleasant ones either. Thought-feeling matrices are a poor substitute for living in joy. Part 3. A day in the life of a psychopath. Daily prayer. I will never submit to stupidity or belief, and though I may lose a battle, I will never be defeated, even in death. I will serve my highest aspirations with truth, strength, and joy. I hereby bind myself in every way, in everything I do, throughout the day, to my highest purposes. Everything I do, whether big or small, serves my end. Even in my dreams, I will affirm my goals, strength, and power. Refuse to entertain thoughts of self-doubt and failure. Ignore all those who attempt to influence you against yourself. Remember, each painful thought has an underlying belief. Thank yourself each and every day and night for any effort you put forth to accomplish your ends. Do not mourn over any failure or loss. Do not dwell on losses. If and when you catch yourself regretting your errors, slap yourself in the face. Build in your mind the images which reflect your future. Start your day early and end it late. Do not overindulge in food, sex, or anything which will sidetrack you from your end. The 7 blessings, often called the 7 deadly sins. The 7 deadly sins, the 7 happy powers. God favors the bold, the strong of heart. Be true to your own demon, he who lives in silence. Do not be swayed by the illusions of your emotions and attachments which come and go like night and day. Be aware of all those who offer you knowledge without effort, for they implant within you what they want you to know. That which you don't pay for is worthless, and often what you do pay for is worthless. Trust no one who does not desire something which they value in return for what they offer, for they are fools. Believe in no one who is dependent on the favors of others. Thus trust not he that died for you, for in the end you will find he died because he couldn't save his own behind. Let us pray. This is what lies on the other side of silence. The 7 deadly sins are heavenly blessings. You have heard of anti-venom. 7 deadly sins are God's true powers. Made in his image, we do exactly right. The deadly sins, if used correctly, can make you great. Learn them by heart and use them effectively, but unlike Jesus, you know the consequences if you are caught. Remember, God is at war with man. He hates you. He hates himself, but won't kill himself just yet. Man's suffering gives him too much pleasure. God is miserable. Your pain is his antidote. Look, guys, he killed his own son. You get the point. Joy drives him crazy. To defeat God at his own game, he does not like a good contest. He gave us logic, reason, intuition, instinct, and science. These tools will make you smart, hyper-intelligent, immortal, and free. Travel the entire universe, yes? If used correctly, the 7 deadly sins are 7 blessings, and your success punishes your enemies. Oh, revenge again. Before we begin, remember that not all people are equally competent in these 7 skills. The ideal would be to find 7 people who are experts at one or more and start a deadly coven. This is the true magical order. The rest are imitations. Just look at them. Junkies, hairy, fat, frail. Lust is blind. Use it wisely. God is lustful. He wants everything. There are no limits to his lust. Look, he murdered his own son and called it a sacrifice. Frankly, he didn't trust him. Trust not thee who lust after power. Does God trust you? you? Sure he does. Lust is possession, a weakness in self. In essence, lust is not real pleasure, but a failed attempt to rid oneself of pain. Lust is created by deprivation, guilt, self-contempt. No one is born guilty, but made so by those whose own anxieties have created false sense of order with prohibitions and restrictions. Are you following in their footsteps by polluting your brain? Lustful behavior is often degrading and dehumanizing. Hence, stress, lust in those you want to suffer. More often than not, lustful actions lead to guilt and self-depreciation. It is wise to encourage lust in those you wish to have an edge over. Shame is the companion of lust. Individuals who lust after possession, sex, or love bring shame, and shame is not of wisdom. Frequently, they will trip themselves up some important way, as the wisdom of shame is to inflict pain. Shame, guilt, and pain is the ultimate game. Ever try to win with a masochist? Their only card is their own demise. Remember, the only power a child had in combating a sadistic parent was its own pain and death, and this is what mankind has done with its God. Gluttony. Gluttony is an ideal form of killing yourself, deadening the mind and making you weak. This is the purpose. Constipation of the brain. Food is but one example, but most people are gluttons in most everything they undertake. Nothing is ever enough for them. Urge your enemies on. Provide them with new and better addictions. Help them expand their resources on nonsense, showing off their pain to the crowd. As for yourself, avoid overdoing most everything except for accumulating power to carry out your plans and to live your own life. People hunger for numbness. Help them become numb. Sell it on the street corners. Give it away at parties. Help them buy bigger cars and houses. Make them dependent on external devices. Assure them that seeking status is a worthy goal. Show them how to save for their old age so their children will have a better life when they die. Sell insurance to everyone. People are gluttons for suffering. They believe the more they suffer, the better person they are. Help them to be self-sacrificial. These types are both pitiful and ugly, but they do it with pride. Anger. God is angry. He harms and punishes those who do not obey him. Can you do that with impunity? Help others to be angry, particularly with themselves and their lifestyle. Help people hold on to their resentments and teach them effective ways of acting out their hate. This will lead them both in mental and physical disorders. Teach them to blame everyone but themselves for their empty and miserable lives. This makes them more impotent than they are. Teach them to throw tantrums. Help them to feel shameful and guilty. These makes them easier to use and manipulate. When used properly, anger is a powerful motivating force, and so is hate. Anger implies frustration, the blocking of the goals and desires. Anger helps you identify your real desires and can help you plan on how to achieve what you want. So watch anger. Do not judge it. Trace it to the frustration behind it and back even further. Sloth. God is lazy. He creates things by thought images, sounds, and words. Can you create a universe by farting? Laziness is nothing more than effective action. Regardless of how hard they work, they are lazy. Their minds are clogged with truisms and beliefs. Teach them how to work harder by doing more of the same. Redouble their misguided efforts toward true laziness. Teach them to wish. Reinforce habits which don't work. Show them how their schedules and routines are signs of their true commitment to success and happiness. Offer them prepackaged plans which will exhaust them. Have them buy everything that will make life easier for them, but for sure do not let them think that will stop them from spending money on their thinking-saving devices. Greed. God is greedy. He wants what he wants when he wants it and gets it. But do you? Teach people to buy more than they want or need. Reinforce the idea that they need to protect everything they own. Occupy them with the idea they can never have enough of the things that the more they have, the happier they will be. Show them how much their neighbors have and how happy it makes them. Envy. God envies. He doesn't like competition and wants everything for himself and gets it. Can you? Teach people that envy is the motivation that will get people where they want to go. Let people know how envious others are of them. Keep them buying lest they lose out in the race for happiness. People want to spend money even though they are fearful. It helps them feel powerful and immortal. They can own things, be in charge of things all the time, decaying and dying. Pride. God is prideful. He loves compliments and gets it. Do you? Give them compliments. Make them more dependent on you. When pride cometh, then cometh shame. Pride, sometimes known as self-esteem, is regarded psychologically as positive and essential characteristic of mental health. On the other hand, thinking you are better than others is not, nor is conceit. As a deadly sin, pride contains something more subtle. The simple pride in yourself as a human. For within this thought there is a great danger. Disregard for God God as creator, the one who is responsible for all and owns mankind, his most noble creation. Thus, pride, in this sense, is something akin to self-worship, disregarding God in the soul and complete cause of everything. It ignores the premise that man owes everything to God, but man also owns his gods. What a shame. Regardless of what most people might say, Freud and others recognize primary narcissism in all human beings. In other words, a self-love, self-worship that precedes the so-called Garden of Eden myth. Man wanted to be like God and didn't want to be dependent. This is the essence of the fall. As God prevents man from eating from the tree of life, lest they become like one of us, immortal. The tree of knowledge gave man the power of knowing, but the tree of life would place man completely out of God's control. Only God is allowed complete pride as creator, not man. Helping others to harm themselves with pride is simple. Just help them take pleasure in their pride, compliment them, assure them they are acting too humbly for their own best interest. Help them to show off, reinforce their innate belief that they are beyond destruction. Suggest that they take risks, chances which have a real element of danger.